living, sunshine gonna wash my blues away. Had sweet love, but I lost it. She got too close, so far, and now I'm lost in the world, trying to find me a better way. Wishing I was deep, deep in the water somewhere, got the blue sky breeze, and it don't seem fair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky. Never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise. Wrote a note, sent me back in a minute. Bought a boat and sailed off in it. Don't think anybody's gonna miss me anyway. The ocean is my only medication, wishing my condition ain't ever gonna go away. And now I'm deep, deep in the water somewhere, got the blue sky breeze blowing wet through my hair. Only worry in the world is the tide gonna reach my chair. Sunrise, there's a fire in the sky, never been so happy, never felt so high. And I think I might have found me my own kind of paradise. This champagne.
All right, good morning, good morning. Where's my screen? Turn my microphone back on, right microphone. So that's what happened, Jimmy. If I use this microphone, I get sound, but if I use my computer sound, then I get sound from music. So I figured it out. Good morning, sir. I'm not hearing you at all because you're muted.
I'll try that again. How are you doing this?
I am awesome and amazing. It is beautiful. I walk the dog every morning and I go down to where my parents used to live on the point and I can see the bay through these two houses. And this morning, St. Pete was so damn clear. It was like beautiful. And I got Jonathan coming out this morning to do some filming with me. And we're going to do some audio, video footage. It's a listing I got. And it's going to be a beautiful day for it. So
that's cool.
Nice. Okay, so we have this problem. And the problem is that there are too many buyers than there are listings, right? And there's a way to capitalize on this problem because this problem is going to go away at some point. I don't know when, but as the builders keep building and things calm down and different sellers find different places to go, we will get more listings and pricing will come back in line with the shortages and the backlogs. But the problem is you're getting a list of buyers right now.
Right.
And many you cannot find anything for. So do you just throw them away or should you find a way to organize them and put them into a database and stay in touch with them so that when they think about buying again, they think of you?
Right.
A, stay in touch with them. B, ignore them. What do you think? A or B? You want to chat in for me? A, stay in touch. B, ignore. I think I'm seeing all A's. We should stay in touch. Now we have this amazing tool called a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. And that's where you put the customers to incubate them when they're not ready to buy yet, right? And then we can do all kinds of cool stuff. And Mr. McNally happens to be an expert at our CRM provided by our franchisor, which is called Zap, which is an amazing tool when you know how to use it.
Yes.
So let's take it, Jimmy, let's take it from this tack that, all right, I've got John and Mary, they're an FHA buyer. They want to buy in a non-home partners area. So they're just getting their butt kicked every time they make an offer on a house. And personally, I'm getting fed up with it. So what can I do with them? Let's call them John and Mary.
Okay, so we got John and Mary. So obviously the first thing you want to do is you want to get them into your CRM. And so that way you can start with everything from drip campaigns, reminders, a search possibly for them that will pop up as listings do pop up in the areas that meet their criteria. But the first thing you have to do is you have to get them into the system. You really have to. And there's multiple ways you can actually do that. You can do it through our Zap system online, or you can do it mobile. Mobile is super easy as you meet somebody. to be able to add them. And I can show you actually how to do that here in just a moment. But the first thing is to get them into your CRM, because our CRM is Zap is just so robust with features that if you're not using it, you're missing out. I mean, you truly are missing out with some of the follow-up things that it can do for you to keep the idea is to keep your face and name top of mind. If they're not ready right now, if we can't find anything, we don't want them to go to an open house and find an agent there, right? We want to stay top of mind for them as these properties are coming on the market, and Zap does a great job, with that.
Let me add another point to that, because when you enroll, they're called, and the report I download every week is called Added by Agent.
Yes.
So when you add them as an agent, when you add them yourself, it's claiming that lead to you.
Yes.
Because I don't know how to tell this to you, but there's 100 million internet leads and there's only 6 million home sales. And most of the home sales are not from internet leads. So just by the numbers themselves, there have to be multiple inquiries by the same customer.
Right.
Because you couldn't have 100 million leads. So if you claim them by putting them into Zap, they're yours. So if they inquire on Jimmy's listing, they're going to go to you, because Zap's going to say, whoa, John and Mary already registered under Craig. So we're going to send them to Craig, even though they called on Jimmy's listing, because I put them in Zap.
Right. And then, let's take it to with kind of how we're trying to run listings with, putting it on the market, doing an open house. Let's say I put them in the system as my lead, they go to an open house and sign in, and somebody else decides they want to put them into their CRM, it will actually pop up and say that they're a secondary agent because you have already claimed that lead. If you don't put them into the system, then if someone went through an open house and I just uploaded everybody that came through it into my CRM, then it would show me as the primary agent. And as a primary agent, that's when you can follow up. That's when you can set up searches. That's when you can use all the features of what Zap has to offer. You can't do that if you're a secondary agent.
So if you get a lead and it pulls up as secondary agent, they already contacted somebody in our company.
Mm-hmm. And there's ways you can find that out. We're not going to go through that today. That's a lot but there are ways that you can, identify who the, agent is. But that the moral of the story is, when you get a new client that comes in, you need to get them into your CRM ASAP.
Whether it comes from an internet lead, or you meet them at a restaurant, or you meet them at Publix. I haven't said these words in a long time, but I like to say, at the end of the day, you need to take 5 minutes and pause and reflect on what happened today. Pause and reflect is a really great thing to do at the end of the day. Oh yeah, I met that guy at Publix and he wanted me to show him, he was interested in waterfront homes at 450 and above. Oh, I better put him in Zap. Write him down, put it over.
Don't just write them down, throw them in. I mean, the mobile makes it so easy. At least just add them, because if you add them as a new or a hot lead, then you can turn around and you're going to remember that they're there. They're going to get even an email saying, hey, welcome to my website. And I mean, even if you forget about it for weeks, as long as if you put them in correctly, they're going to start getting on your website and doing stuff already anyways, if they're that active. So
Jimmy Sherrill said, what if the client wants to work with the secondary agent?
Okay, so this is the conversation I get quite a bit, because that lead has already been identified for somebody else. So what I usually end up doing is having them finding out who the other agent is, so you can have a conversation with them, because it's in Zap, it's their lead, right? It's their lead. But if that if that client wants to work with you, I mean, you can't just switch it over to a primary agent, be able to do everything, that a primary agent would do.
The answer is, if the client wants to work with a secondary agent, they work with the secondary agent.
Yeah.
That's period. End of story. Switching them to primary and Zap is a whole nother conversation, because that doesn't need to happen for you to work with them.
Correct.
It just needs to happen. But if you find out you're secondary, it could have been they were in 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
Right. And now they bought a house, now they're buying again, and their agent's no longer in the business. There's all kinds of valid reasons they could be asking again.
Oh, and there's ways you can go back and you can see how long ago that lead was put in. And if there's been any communication or anything going on with them, you can actually see all that. and everybody can see that. So,
I know I can.
alrighty. So what we'll do now is, well, a couple things. I mean, obviously the most important thing is to get them into the system and ensure that we are getting started with them. So the first thing I'm going to do
Just
here,
from a rule of thumb, do you prefer working within the website or the mobile app?
well, you have to use the website if you're setting up searches. You cannot set up a search on the mobile app.
So mobile
So-
is on the fly, easy to get them in.
Yes.
That just gets them in.
Yes.
You really need to monitor your CRM from a desktop.
I use my app for on the fly and putting in property and community insights. So if I've seen a house, that's when I'll use the app, or if I find someone I want to get in there right away, I'll use the mobile, and I'll do it for follow-up, because you can, if you have someone on a follow-up plan, or you need to, you have, reminders or things that need to happen, then you can do that all from the app pretty easily. But the majority of the stuff I do and end up doing is going to be on the computer, just because I'm, in front of it a little bit more. But you have that option at least to get them into the system right off the bat.
Okay, Nancy just wrote, I have so many past clients in Zap that they clutter my database. I want to get past clients out, so I just have leads. Otherwise, it's overwhelming. Can't we classify the past clients as past clients and put them into a...
Yes. So the idea is, like, Nancy, I would not recommend to get all of your past clients out, because I think that could be a extraordinary piece of business that you can still follow up and see, what's going on.
Yeah, they should be on campaigns.
They should be on some type of campaign. If it's a closed buyer or closed seller follow-up, or set some reminders for anniversaries and things like that. But it's very important that when you put them in from here on out and spend some time going back, identifying the leads correctly, and putting them and adjusting them correctly in the system if they're not. So if it's a buyer or a seller, if they're closed, if they're incubating, if they're hot, you want to make sure that you stay on top of that. Okay, so they're on Business Builder, on campaigns. Cool. So, but you can go through and you can filter out all of your past clients if you want, and just focus on the clients that are not. I mean, you can do that, but the thing is you have to go in and make sure that they are set up correctly, or you're never going to be able to filter the system correctly, so you can just identify the ones that are not.
But she could actually delete them if she wanted to, but that wouldn't be a very good idea.
I mean, she could. I wouldn't. I would just make sure they're set up correctly in there and filter them out so you don't necessarily see them. But
Actually, it might be a good exercise for her to go through just one by one. Oh yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while.
Yes.
Send them a little note. Oh yeah, them.
And unfortunately, for the ones that have been around for a while, that have a ton of leads in the system, or a ton of clients in the system, then, I hate to say it, but there's no real quick way of just saying, hey, let me take these 150 people and switch them. That's the thing about a CRM, is you have to consistently stay on top of it. And unfortunately, if you're not really doing that, you're going to have a lot of red balls, and you're going to have a lot of people that you need to go through and adjust accordingly.
Is it worth putting them in Business Builder for those you do not want to actively engage with?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, use both.
I mean, I get 400 emails a day from people that think I'm in their database. They've never actively engaged with me, to the tune that it pisses me off royally. But
all right, so cool. We got those questions answered. So, and here, Nancy, since you had a question on that, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Craig, just make sure you got my Zap up.
Yep.
Okay. So, well, first thing I want to do before we get into this. So there was a change in Zap for how you actually log in. So you can either log in through 21 Online, okay? Or you can go, and I'm highlighting it up here, the new.myzap.com. That was the that's where everybody would log in if they don't want to go through 21 Online. Well, what happens now is it is automatically going to be redirected to Century 21. And it's the same login as 21 Online anyways. And then now it's going to pop up. So it's just getting redirected. You don't have to type a different website or anything in. Leave what you've been doing. but it's just one extra step at this time if you are using the new.myzap.com to log in. Okay, so it's just going to look a little different. Don't freak out. A little bit of change, you know, just kind of liven it up a little bit for you. But don't freak out about that. Okay.
By the way, look at Jimmy's screen. He's got 0. He's on top of it. He's got no reminders because he stayed on top of it. He's got no meetings set up today. He's got no new leads yet today that he hasn't addressed. And he's got no requests waiting for him.
And I mean, I log into this every day. And at the same time, if you're using this all the time, I get email reminders of everything too. If someone logs into my website, I get an email. It even reminds me to say, you have updates that are due soon. I log in, do what I got to do, keep it clean. So that way I can still get leads. So, all right, cool. So let me show you real quick what a contact looks like. So if we want to add a contact, you're going to come up here to where it says add. Okay, click on it. This is where you can add a whole bunch of stuff. We are going to focus right now just on a new contact real quick. And then you click on individual contact. Now, the important thing with this is obviously first and last name. You want to make sure they have an email address in there because that's how searches and everything are going to be set up. It's nice if you have a phone number because through the app, you can text them things directly through the app that you can't do on the website.
Okay, let's talk about, Jimmy, let's just for basics, let's talk about the integrity of your data. I mean, this has to be done right. So first name, yes, obviously, last name, obvious, email address, be clear, but hover over phone number. It says example. Give me a format. It was XXX-XXX-XXXX. But it should show that you got to put it in the way they want it, or else yes, it's not going to work.
And the other thing too is the more that you put in here, and this is why it's so important, especially with what Nancy was saying, if you're putting them in, and let's say they're a seller or a buyer, like you want to distinguish that, you want to distinguish what kind of lead they actually are. So when you click lead information here, is it a personal contact? Is it a buyer? Is it a seller? Is it a buyer and seller? Again, but the more you put in, the more you're going to be able to get out and the more efficient you can actually be when you do this kind of stuff. Click the status. If let's say you don't even have a prior client that's closed in here for some reason, make sure it's set up correctly in the system. And then the source, where did it come from? Friends and family, past clients. So the more information you put here, the more things and the easier and more efficient it is to do the other things that you want to do, not just follow plans, but being able to really identify. You know, a lot of people right now are focusing on their past clients. If you don't put them in as a past client or they're closed, how are you going to be able to identify if you have 500 people in your system besides going through every single one of those 500?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Anniversary. So let's go back. Let's pretend we're Nancy for a second. And I'm going through, let's say Nancy made it a target to go through 10 a day.
Okay.
Probably take what, 5 minutes to go through 10?
Yeah.
And just check their anniversary, maybe a little bit longer because you have to go look it up and see when they actually closed.
Right.
Right. But the integrity of that data, go back and, oh, Bruce Wayne, shit, he's a past client. He was a buyer. He bought 123 Any Street and he bought it in March of 2012.
Yep.
And then you can actually set them up on a campaign and every March something of 2000, every year, happy anniversary from Nancy and on the anniversary of your home. I mean, every one of us.
If you have them in here, the thing is a lot of times it will automatically pop up that they've sold a house and they've closed. So you can actually go down to business and you can see if they've closed a house, if they're already in the system. If they're not in the system like that, then you're obviously not going to have that. And that's even more work that you're going to end up having to do. But let's use Bruce Wayne. So like right now I have him as a hot seller. Let's say I forgot about him for 6 months or a year. Well, I need to go in and I need to change this because he's not a hot seller because he's already closed. And then I save it. Now what I can do is I can go through all my contacts and just filter out. Literally, I can go to, hold on, I'm sorry, just a sec.
Does that say you have 103,000 contacts?
No, I have an admin account too, so you get to see everything. This is just me though. We're just looking at mine, no one else's. But I could go in here to my filters and I can just click on closed. And if I've done it correctly and I've updated it, it will show you. Now you can even see that I only have 17. That's not right. So I haven't even kept up with all my closed deals. But like I can click on one here and this should have her house on here. You can see that through this client, you can see everything that because she used my Zap like it was butter. Like she used it for everything, to schedule appointments, to request appointments. And then you can see here that we closed. So these were actually two. We had one under contract that got canceled, and this is the one that closed on this date. So I could go and do a reminder on December 11th, 2021 to say, hey, happy anniversary again. So that's why it's
everybody
important.
agreed that would be a smart thing to do going forward, going backwards and forwards.
Oh, heck yeah. And again, a lot of it's going to be playing catch up at first, but the more that you put into it, the more you're going to be able to get. And there's people that bought houses 2 years ago that probably have some equity, may want to move. You never know. But being able to filter and kind of go through this gives you. Thanks for the reminder. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So we kind of looked at a contact. Now there is a way that you can also, if you have a ton of contacts you want to add in, you are able to go in.
Let me back up and just address Nancy. I don't think she got what we're talking about. She says, does Zap Group all close buyers and sellers together, or are they mixed in with the leads that are either current? Your database is a big bag of trash, and you've got to take each piece of trash and label it. And once you label it, Zap will put it in the right folder. But until you label it properly, it's just a bag of trash.
Right.
Right. And then you pull out one piece of paper and you say, this is a buyer trash piece that closed on December 17th. Type. Now Zap knows this is not trash anymore. This is a buyer that closed on December 17th because you told it was. So then you go through the trash bag and you pull out lead number 2. And you say, oh, this is a seller who closed and they moved to Massachusetts and whatever else she knows. And now Zap knows this is not a general trash bag. This is a lead that's a seller, past client moved to Massachusetts. You see what I'm saying? So it's one big pile until you separate that pile and tell it what it is.
And Nancy, depending on how it comes in is how everything is grouped. So if it comes in and it's a lead, and say it's a broker lead, let's say it's passive registration on a C21 website, that's going to come in as a new lead, but it's now part of your CRM. So you have to identify if they truly are a buyer or a seller or whatever that's going to look like, and then make the adjustment. Because when you go through the filters, there's not just one thing you can filter out. You can filter by the status. So if they're closed or not, you could actually filter by the type of client they are. If they're a seller or a buyer, you could do it you can even do it by lead type. So if it's your lead that you've put in or the broker did, I mean, there's so many different ways you can kind of filter this to get it where you need to do. The big thing is making sure that it is inputted correctly so you can use this. And again, it's all about just being more efficient. You don't have to do any of this. You'll just have to go through all 500 contacts and find them. So do filters group them, not contact type? There are multiple filters. You have client type, you have status. There's a lot of different options. It's all what you put in. Okay. All right, cool. So another way you could do it too, which I've worked with a lot of agents on, is importing contacts. So you can individually do one, or you can come in and drop it down and import. Let's say you have an Excel spreadsheet, or let's say you have Google Contacts. You can actually load up your CRM with all of your Google Contacts if you would like. To be able to make that work though, you have to attach Google to Zap. And so now what I want to do real quick is I just want to show you a really cool thing where you can add your Gmail account to Zap. And then when you send and receive emails, they're all coming from c21be.com instead of the generic Zap email that gets sent.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so this is really cool. I'm not going down the rabbit hole on this. You guys have fun with this afterwards if you decide you want to. But when you're in Zap here, I want you to come over to the left and go to Zap Store. Zap Store gives you a whole bunch of different apps or websites that you can tie in to Zap. Okay?
Wow.
Have fun with it. I'm not going down this rabbit hole right now. This could take a while. But what I want to do is I want to show you two really awesome things that could make your life a lot easier. Okay? The first one is right here. We want to access your emails in Zap by integrating Gmail. So all I did is I went to the Zap Store. I'm already logged into Gmail. Make sure you're already into your business account, the C21BE account, okay? Do not do a personal account. Now where are we at? Hold on. Click on Zap Store, go to Google Mail, learn more. You can still see we're in Zap. We haven't left Zap. Teaches you about what it's going to do, but all we're going to do here is we're going to link Gmail. Now it's going to take me to my account that I'm already logged into, so we don't have any issues, and it's going to tell you what it's going to do here, and we're going to allow this. Now we're back in Zap. This is how easy. How long did that take me? 30 seconds.
Not even.
Okay, now one of the cool things, this is pretty cool, especially you guys are always checking your email every day. Imagine logging into Zap, being able to check your email and check your clients at the same time. I'm showing you that right now. One of the easiest ways to do it. What you need to do is you need to sync your Gmail account first. Okay. And then you're going to see this up here. This was not here before where it says Gmail. So every morning now, what I want you to do is log into Zap, click your emails. And it doesn't, now it's going to be acting up. Hold on. Might take a second for it to load in. Now I have my Gmail from Zap. So I'm logging into Zap to make sure I don't have anybody that I'm missing. I can check all of my email directly from Zap. I just opened up another page. But now if I wanted to, I can go to click add new contact. We're going to go to import our contacts. And now I can import by clicking this button, import Google Contacts. And it's going to do the same thing. It's going to see and download all my contacts and import them into Zap. So if you want to take all your Gmail contacts, it's going to take a little bit because I have a lot of contacts in there. Oh, and now I have a problem with it.
I think I have 3,500.
Yeah. So that's one way you could do it. The other way is when you go to import contacts, you can upload a CSV file.
So let's say you have an iPhone and you've had it for years and you've got a whole bunch of contacts. Go to your Apple Help and
Nope. If you have an iPhone, go to your app, go to the app on your iPhone, and you can import all contacts from your iPhone.
export.
Within like 5 buttons.
You mean export?
Sorry, export. You literally will import it from your phone to Zap on your phone, and then it will populate here.
Wow.
That's another class. But if anybody does have a database that they want to throw into this, again, it has to be a CSV file. And what I tell everybody to do first before they reach out, click this down here where it says sample CSV file. That's just a type of file that's going to be able to be read by Zap.
Yeah. So if you have it in an Excel file, you just go File, Save As, and choose CSV file.
Yes.
And it'll
but what
convert
this will
Excel.
do to make sure that they import correctly, this gives you the sample so you know what it's looking for. Just give that
Like it's going to want first name,
last name, type of client, like all that kind of stuff. Kind of what you would put into when you add a new client. It's the same idea.
Caroline said, what if there's a bunch of junk clients and contacts in there? Yeah, you need to clean it up or you're going to
Clean
import
it
the
up.
junk.
And there's a way you can do you can do a big dump if you wanted to. If you know that they're not doing anything, you can click all the ones that aren't. You can delete them all at one time.
Within Zap or within your contacts?
Within contacts and Zap. So like I can come in here. I'm not going to do it, but so I have my filters. I can literally check the ones that I want. I want to get rid of these 3. And then once you click on some of them, it says bulk actions. This is an easy way that you can clean up a lot of stuff too. You can email everybody at one time, but I can delete.
So import everything, then mass delete through Zap. Yes.
Yes. Okay. One other cool thing I want to show you too, since we're on the thing of adding things to make it more efficient. Now we got your Gmail attached. Hopefully that'll get you into Zap a little bit more to follow up, check your email, all that good stuff. Again, when all emails sent through Zap, if it's property searches, follow-up plans, now will be sent directly from your C21 email, not the homes for sale, blah, 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 blah. The other thing I want to show you, because I know everybody uses this, is again, go to the Zap store and come down to .loop. And this is again why it's important to have as much information in there as possible. I can actually add .loop and link my .loop account here.
Nice.
Okay, now I gotta log in real quick. And let me kind of show you how cool this is. Now you can't send anything from Zap for .loop, like when it comes to signatures and stuff. But now now my .loop is connected.
So I'm going to suspect that when I do out my people tab in Zap and .loop, it's going to pull my people tab contact info into Zap.
Correct. So I have Bruce Wayne here. I'm going to click here where it says more. If you do not link .loop, you cannot do this. But you see down here at the bottom where it says, says loop it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's going to ask for a property address. I'm just going to put my home address for right now. Okay. Is it a listing? It's a purchase. We're going to buy. It's for profiles me. Okay, so whoever it is that's doing it. And then watch this. It's pre-offer because I haven't done anything yet with it. Is it listing vacant? This is going to be.
It brings up all of our templates. That's bad.
Right. Okay. So contract as is, let's say. Create loop. Let's see how long that takes. All right, it says that it has been created. So now I'm going to .loop. Let me refresh this. Holy crap, look at that. Loop's already there. Now I still might have to add some stuff, but since they're in Zap and they're ready to go, all I have to do is go to create loop. And when you look at this, you will see that they have already been added right here. So they have already been put in based on the email address and things like that. Now I still have to do things, but it's already created and ready to go.
That's pretty slick.
It's pretty sweet. So go down the rabbit hole, have fun with all the stuff in the Zap store. I believe that if you're buying leads with Zillow, there's a way that you can connect it to Zap also. There's a lot of different things that are in here that you can tie. Some of them cost money, so just pay attention to it and look at it. Some of it's free. But yeah.
We've got a Q&A. How do I set up a search for a buyer? Do we have time to do that today?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So we're going to let's hook Bruce Wayne up again. All right, so you're going to find your contact either by scrolling through or just typing in their name up here. So you can search for anybody at any given time. Okay, anybody, no matter what screen you are with Zap. So we're going to pull up Bruce Wayne and we're going to try to look for we're going to set up a search for him. So Craig, give me something that he's looking for. Well, first you're going to click on more. We want to sign in as the contact right here. More. Sign in as the contact, and now we are on their page. And you can see here at the top, it says you are signed in as Bruce Wayne. So I'm in their Zap, so I can set something up. What do you want to look for?
Waterfront homes, this is 750 to $1 million.
Okay, so we want to do 750 to $1 million. Oops. So we'll start, well, here, we're going to go more filters first. 750 to 1 million. Okay, single family home or doesn't matter?
No, single family.
Okay, awesome. And you come down here, you can see that with the filters, there's quite a bit that you can go into. So we want waterfront. So this is the thing though. This
Let's talk
information
about
is only
that.
as good.
Do we
What's
say
that?
is canal front or is waterfront?
Well, let's do this. What I recommend when I'm doing waterfront is I do all of it, like almost all of these.
Yeah.
Because this is only as good as the agent that's putting it in the system.
Right.
So if they may not.
I
put it
only
as
want
canal
salt water, or I don't want a pond or a lake. Don't put pond or lake. I
Right.
want waterfront or canal front.
But we know in MLS that someone puts waterfront and there's a retention pond behind the house. So just be
Right.
prepared that that's going to happen. All right, cool. So let's just start with that. And do we want a pool?
Yeah, but uncheck lakefront. I want to prove a point here.
Okay.
Because there's like nothing for sale. Oh, city theater zip. Do it at Apollo Beach just for fun. I just did this yesterday. Look at that.
There you go.
There ain't nothing for sale.
All right, but hey, you know what? We get buyers like that all day, right? So
Yes.
what you do is after you set this up and this is the area they want to be and we have it kind of designated for the specifics of that person, all you do is come over here because we still want to set up the search. We want them to know when something hits the market. So all you do is click recommend search here, add a nice little note. Here is the search we discussed.
Now this is important, and this is like this is the key to Zap.
Yeah.
When they start searching here, Zap's gonna spy on them, for lack of a better word, and they're gonna record their actions,
Yes.
and they're gonna say, Craig, Batman said he wanted to be 750 to $1 million, but he's upped his criteria to $1.5 million now because he can't find anything.
Right.
And then you're gonna find he jumped over to Ruskin. And then you're going
And
to find
this-
he jumped up to Gibsonton. And it's
the
going to
thing-
tell you this.
And the thing is you don't have to log into the website here to see what they're looking at. Again, that just to me is very cumbersome. Let's log into every single search that they've done. No, if you go back here to their contact and you see where it says Zap score and search insights, you can see what they've been doing. So if I scroll down here, let me use someone because I don't really use that one that much. Let me go. I'm always on my own. Okay, so we're going to go to the Zap score and it tells you what they're doing with your website. So they're logging into the website and we've also subscribed to Watch Homes. This tells me that this person has been looking at homes that are 4-bedroom, 3-bath, at least 2,000 square feet, and they're all in Riverview. Scroll down a little bit more and this will tell me the last time he looked at a home, okay, 53 days ago. The last time he saved a home, let me use a real life because that one was mean. Let me use this one here because they're pretty active right now. They're very active. So again,
This is a real buyer lead.
this is a real buyer. So you can see here what they're doing. They're logging into the website, they're saving homes, and they have saved searches. And
Talk
they've
about the
actually
high
done-
Zap score, very high Zap score.
Yes. And so just so you know, when you get over 200 active people in Zap, this will turn to a score. So instead of just saying very high, it's going to say 99 or 100.
Is it 200 or 100?
I think it's 100 actually.
I think it's 100.
100 active. Okay. But now we can see, look at where they're looking at. I can see that their average is $300,000, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, at least 2,059 square feet. They're looking in Apollo Beach, Riverview, Ruskin, Tampa, and Zephyr Hills. But it tells you the majority that they're looking at is Tampa. 50% of the homes that they're looking at and saving. And then I can go down and I can see when was the last time that they looked at a house, which was 5 days ago.
And
To me,
this is
when I
because
see
they're
this,
shopping on your site,
yeah, on my site.
because your site sent them a notification of some sort, which brought them into your site, which now they're just going down the rabbit hole, acting like a buyer in heat.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing from out of state. So, but yeah. So you set up a search. If you're going through this system, you have them on a follow-up plan. Now, I do not have them on a follow-up plan. So guess what? Let me show you how to do that. You're going to go to campaigns and scroll down.
Now, why would Jimmy you not have them on a follow-up plan?
I should. They definitely aren't looking for, they're not going to be moving probably until next year. But I should put them like on an incubating plan. This was my own client that it's actually an old friend from up north. I should have put them on when I put them into the system and I didn't.
Right.
Luckily, I look at this every day and I can see that they're active. But if I didn't look at this every day and I forgot about them, I'd have nothing that besides these searches that were set up. But what I want to do is I'm going to go here to follow-up plan. And I know that they are, client type, buyer. So I'm filtering out the follow-up plans that are for buyers. And if I want to, I can pick this automated one, which is 24 contact points. Yes, there is a way to search, Cheryl, there is a way to search by county, neighborhood, school zone, zip code. I'll show you that in 1 second, Cheryl, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this real big mamma jamma. So this is going to send out 24 automatic emails to them. So, all right, let me show you real quick how to search by different
Before you
options.
do that, Jimmy, they're going to send them 24 emails. Show them the frequency because you can select that.
Yep.
Because you start sending me 24 emails in a month and I'm going to delete you.
No, it's not that much. So if you view plan, basically how it works when you're picking your plan, it tells you, so it's going to send, let's say send this one here.
Then 2 days later, and then 3 days later,
3
and
days
then
later,
5
then
days.
3 days later, 6 days later, 7 days. So once you start getting towards like 6 and 7, it's every week. It's sending something else out.
And then every 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
that's not too annoying because they're not engaging with you in the beginning. Then
Yes. And I think it's enough that, again, this is just getting you out there. You still have to contact them, but this will at least, like, your face and your name and your website's getting out this many times when you do it. All right. Let me answer Cheryl's real quick. So if I want to search by county, when you go here to you go back to their website, again, you sign in as the person. And when you go to more filters.
So what this also means is Bruce could be doing this for himself, but he's a customer, doesn't know how.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you log in as him and you do it for him, and then his account is just been set up by you.
And I'll tell you, if you just get them set up and send your website to them, even if you don't have a search, they're going to start looking. They're going to start, like, I get a lot of people that will try to set up a search. It may not be the best, and it may be way too many properties because they haven't really singled anything out. But you send your website out, they're going to get on it. It's going to happen. So, but if you scroll down here with the filters, you can see here, you can do by city, zip code, neighborhood, subdivision, address. So actually county, no, you'd have to do it by city. You can search by subdivision. So let's say I want Mirror Bay. I can literally search in Apollo Beach just in Mirror Bay by doing this.
There's no homes for sale in Mirror Bay either right now.
Yeah, so nothing's going to come up anyways. You can do proximity. You can do a specific address. You can do it by neighborhood, zip code, and city. So hopefully that answers it.
Yep. It does.
All right, so let's see.
Correct. No to county.
Not in Zap, not at this time. But hey, please, when you guys are using this stuff,
Go to the
you go
bottom. It
back to,
said,
like,
is there a search criteria you want that's not here? Click here and tell us.
yes, well, it's there. Like, it's actually in there. Like, when you go to more filters here, are we missing search filters that you would like to see in Zap? Hit yes and type what you want. Do it. They will take the feedback from you, I promise. They may not do it right away, but the more people that say, yes, we want to see this search, then they'll start working through it.
This is so cool when you actually do it right.
Yes. Now, since we have time too, one thing else I want to show real quick is when you look at your website, so to go to your website to adjust things, if it's changing your picture, changing your bio and stuff like that, your website is very long. So if I wanted to give somebody this, I said, hey, I want you to check out my website. I don't have my phone on it. Hey, just go to homesforsale.century21.com/agent/James McNally at century21.com. You think they're going to remember that? Probably not, right? So we've done some classes before where you can like buy a domain. So it will basically, if you go to jimmymcnally.com, it's going to go to my Zap website. But one of the cool things that Century 21 has is they already have basically another website that you can point at Zap. And what that means is instead of this really long ass address, you put this on your business cards too. You can go to jimmymcnally.c21.com. I can have that be my address. And I'm going to show you, we still have some time, right?
Yeah, 15 minutes.
So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Well, it's not necessarily real quick. I'll go slow. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go to 21 Online and you're going to log in. Okay. Please don't make me log in again. Of course. And your address, your login information is kind of your vanity, if you want to call it that, but it's your first last name at century21.com. It's the same username and password you will use from Zap. I set up my Zap search in an area that I have a pending contract, and it said the search was out of my area. Why? Here we go.
Because you have to have zip codes assigned that you want to be recognized in. We'll get to that.
Okay, so I'm on 21 Online here. Easiest way to do it is we're just going to search. And you're going to want to search my C21 site. Okay. Easiest way to do it instead of digging through all the menus. My 21 site. All right. So this is, and if for those of you that don't even know this, Century 21 does have a website already developed for you. You have Zap. This is also where the Spanish version of your website and stuff comes into play, but we're not going to have that much time to show all that. But you're going to scroll down and here where it says access my C21 site right here. So this is going to pull up all the websites that Century 21 has made for me. So you can see there's a commercial agent, there's a Spanish one, which I have not claimed. And there is one that is published. So when you come on board, you're going to already have this. This is already going to be ready to go. So this one should already be claimed. What you're going to do is you come over here to where it says edit. Now, for all the purpose I'm trying to show you here is not to set up this website, because you don't want two websites. You don't want someone going to this one and someone going to a Zap site. You want your Zap site because that gives you the most information that you can get on a client. And all we're going to do is we're going to take this website that was the c21.com and we're going to point it very easily. Scroll down to where it says preview and publish. Now click on preview and publish. Scroll down, domain name redirect. So jimmymcnally.com. I can redirect it to my website without them having to type this in. So when I redirect it like I am here, I don't know how long it takes.
So you basically said, don't use this name on this site. Use it on my Zap site instead.
So when this should be when I go to jimmymcnally.c21.com, I am now on my Zap site.
Yep. See where it says at the top, homes for sale.century21.com.
Yep. So without getting confused on why and all this stuff and what's actually happening, go to the website, start sharing jimmymcnally.c21.com, and it will send everything to your Zap website. So if anybody starts searching, sets up an account, wants to see what's happening here and there, you're going to start getting that information. And you can see here, it even still says you're signed in as Bruce Wayne because that's who I was signed in last. I haven't logged out of that yet. That simple. So one more time, 21 online, search My 21 site, scroll down, click access My C21 site. Find your website and click edit. And unfortunately I can't, it's already done, so it's not going to show activate. Click on preview twice, scroll down, redirect to Zap. And you can see that it is already set up and ready to go. And I can re-enable this other site if I want, but I don't want that. I don't want all these different sites. I want everybody on my Zap site. Any questions on that?
Cheryl's got another question. She suggested she tried to set up a Zap search in an area that she has a pending contract, and it said that search was out of my area. Why? How do you want to answer that?
Well, most likely if it's out of your area,
It's area served. Your Zap
area served.
Yep.
So I'll show you where you can find it on here. So you, so if your area served is, and you're trying to set up a search that you're not set up to be a service area, then no, you won't. It will say every single time that you're not able to do that.
And the reason is, in Century 21's infinite wisdom, they decided that if you're in the Orlando market and somebody starts searching in Daytona Beach, their logic is that you're probably not a local knowledgeable agent in Daytona Beach. And since we're Century 21, you should refer it to a Century 21 agent in Daytona Beach, which is honestly the truth. But some agents don't agree with that. So, but that's where the areas served set up are. Can you add to your areas served?
You cannot personally. You have to get with an admin for them to be able to do that. So that's a conversation with your manager and getting that changed. But if you want to know what service areas are turned on for you, we would actually come down here to. I might be clicking on the wrong one. Let's see. You go to your name. Make sure this is it.
Lead zip codes or service markets.
Yep. So you're
at the top.
Yeah. So we'll scroll down right here. So you'll have your lead zip codes. So these will be the leads where you will be able to get leads from. You'll see that certain ones are turned on, and then by just clicking it, it'll tell you what's assigned and what's not. And then your service market areas. So let's say Tampa, this will show
all the zip codes in Tampa.
That's good. You'll see that all the zip codes are turned on in my service area, so I would be able to do that. Could you please go into my Zap? These two updates I saved for review. Put in the secondary age. So let me finish that real quick. So this is your service area. If there's a zip code in here that you're farming, that you're doing a lot of business, talk to your manager. See if we can't get it turned on for you. How's that? Easiest way to do it. But make it make sense. You're in Tampa. You don't need service area for Orlando on, or Daytona, or Jacksonville, or Miami. You know, that kind of stuff. Okay, cool. So what did I see? Lauren says, could you please go into my Zap and these two updates I saved for review as they both inquired on my listing. All right. If you're okay with me pulling up, Lauren, I'll show it real quick, but give me one of the names.
How can you log into? Oh, you're an admin. Okay.
Since I'm an admin, I have proxy to be able to see things. I can't do things for you, so please do not say, "Hey, can you do this follow up for me, Jimmy?" No, I can't do that. And I don't have time for that. You guys need to do it. All right, so she's got 2 updates there that are due.
Wait, Buster. She's got 380 reminders sitting there.
Lauren, oh my gosh, what are you doing? You shouldn't have told me to do that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, no, I see it right here. Okay, cool. So let's go to your updates. So these are out of compliance. So since you have these out of compliance, that means that you will not be able to get broker leads. Okay. So we have Tom here. So let's take a look at Tom Unknown. So the reason, first of all, it says Tom Unknown is because when he registered or whatever he did not give a last name. So that's what we have. And we have a phone number.
But you're a secondary agent.
And we have a secondary agent. So obviously, well, see, and this is what's funky. So we'll have to look at this one for you, Lauren, because as a secondary agent, you're not able to do any follow-up or anything with them because you can't. There's nothing you can do.
He's already been claimed by somebody else.
Right.
So Rosa could look that up.
So one of the easy ways to do it, okay, to get an idea, but yes, Rosa can definitely help out, is you go down here, you click on where it says history, and this will actually show. So on January 25th, you did a couple things here. And then it says, I don't know why I'm the secondary agent. Click on all, and we can scroll down and we could probably find out. So it's your listing, right, Lauren? So you did a listing. I don't know when your listing went live. I would assume it would be pretty soon, right? But as you can see down here, this person was in the system. Wow, I'm still going. I'm down to 2019. So this person was already in the system in 2019. And it looks like it's changed around a little bit, quite a bit.
Amy Bowles had them. Phil DiRosario had them.
Jeff Beggins had his status. I mean, everybody.
Jeez.
So, and that's why. So like, yes, it's on your listing, but if they're already in the system, yeah, they called on your listing. That's correct. But this is why, like, they're already in the system. And they have Helen. Jeanette.
You say, gotcha. I'm more confused now than I was before. Celeste Christmas in there.
Here's in April, they met with Thomas and Tom.
Who's they?
I think is this Celeste?
Yep, it is. These are not very loyal customers.
And here's another one. Amy, traveling back from Florida.
So Amy's working actively with these customers. Lauren's actively working with these customers. Celeste is actively working with these customers. That's why you got to know what secondary agent is.
Well, and then here this says bogus using another agent. So see, they've seen that you know, Celeste is like, hey, they're using another agent. They're using, like, obviously you can see all that through here. So you can see Amy's been dealing with her for a while.
Phil got involved.
Removing from contacts here because, okay, haven't heard anything. So secondary. So, and then Phil, I mean, there's like, look how many people, like, there's a lot of people that have been on this with this one. So let's go back to Craig, what you said. Okay. So if you're a secondary agent and the client wants to work with you, what do we do? Work with the agent.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they're going through and working with a lot of different people, and depending on who they're following up with is probably one they're going to end up using. So you just have to, I mean, we can get with Rosa specifically on some of these just to see. And, you know, typically what if you want to be the primary agent, this is when we find out who the primary agent is. And that's when you're going to need to have a conversation to get it switched over because they're in their system. If that makes sense.
Which is fair, because if the table's returned, You'd want to be contacted before somebody unilaterally switches in.
You need to focus on those that are loyal. So there you go. Hey, I like it. But this is thank you, Lauren, because this is a good example, because a lot of people this runs into. And again, I wasn't trying to go down the rabbit hole of this saying, oh my gosh, this is what you can do. And it's not trying to call anybody out. That's not what I'm trying to do. But there's just a plethora of information through Zap that, a lot of this stuff you can figure out on your own if you just take a little time and play around with it. You don't always have to go to, you will eventually have to go to ROSA in this case, but other than that, you can see what's happening. What if you had a relationship already with that other agent and they're like, yeah, I can't, just take them. Like, they're not doing anything for me, just take them. Or the 17 other people that this one has been under.
Oh, guys, it's crazy. I go through Lead Router once in a while and I'll check on a lead and see that it went to 17, 18 people who didn't even try to get it before somebody finally picked it up.
Yep.
Okay. Jimmy, we are out of time. Yeah, log out as Lauren, so.
Yeah, well, no, I can't. Like I said, I can't do anything with her anyway, so I am going to log
Cool.
out.
Well, guys, so you think that was helpful? Let us know, because we'll do more of this, because Zap really is important. And I know it's kind of admin. You can hire an assistant and make them do this for you, but you know what I say. Either you are an assistant or you have the assistant. So
Right.
in this case, since you don't have an assistant, you should be doing this for yourself until you hire somebody to do it for you. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
All right. One more message, and then Puma's going to cut us out. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, good. Jackie Pope. All righty.
Cool.
All right, Jimmy, thank you very much. It was very informative. It's nice to see the hands-on. That was good.
Yeah, cool. And if anyone needs anything, just let me know. Reach out.
Okay.